Hello, and welcome to the Exalted Empress Tarot. If you found this message today, it was meant for you. And today's reading is going to be what is happening in your next 6 months. So, if you have not done a pick a card reading before, I will go over how these work right now. There are 4 piles represented by each card, and you will pick your pile based off of which card speaks to you the most or which corresponding crystal, in this case geode, speaks to you the most. So I'm going to show each one to the camera, and then there will be a timestamp below that corresponds with each one of these piles. Just pick the one that resonates with you, and then you can go down to the timestamp and we can see each other again for your specific reading. So let's get started. The group number 1 will be the Lion's Gate. And will be this black and white geode. Group number 2 will be the Perfume of Sophia. And will be this white and tan geode. Group number 3 will be the Deer of Delta. And this black mini geode, very sparkly. And group number 4 will be the Theta of Venus. And let's see if we can put this in focus. There you go. I'll do it over here. It's mostly white geode. Take a moment to pick your pile, and then click your link down below. I'll see you in just a moment. Hello, and welcome again to the Exalted Empress Tarot. If you picked pile number 1 or the black and white geode, this reading is for you. Now, if you haven't done one of these before, let's focus, camera. There we go. Oh, don't do it. There you go. If you haven't done one of these before, this is the Oracle card, and it is kind of like a theme for your overall reading, which is the next 6 months. And for number 44, Ishtar's, I believe, hopefully I'm pronouncing that right, Lionsgate 888. Your heart has a heightened connection with the higher realms of consciousness and light. A blessing, empowerment, and positive omen shall enter your world. Doors will open for you. Abundance and prosperity are headed your way. Take care of your heart. Ask for spiritual assistance, and it shall be granted. Something negative is going to transform into something very positive. Wow. That sounds like a great 6 months. Reading over, just kidding. Okay, let's see what details the Spirit can give us. Starting with the Knight of Chalices, which is the Knight of Cups. Let's see what else we get. Okay. I don't usually take the cards when they come out in big chunks, but it looks like for you, that's what Spirit wants. So let me go ahead and get this out. This is the 5 of Wands, the Tower, see. I'm going to put it this one. This is really the one that came out first. The Four of Wands and the High Priestess. Here. Make everything line up. And let's see if we can get 3 more cards for you. Sorry about that. A little bit of metronome in the background. I am experimenting with a new mic, so I hope that you guys, well, hopefully the new sound gets on here. If it does, you guys will have much better quality sound. Here, do we have 3 more cards for their next 6 months? Okay. Oh, wow. Nice. It doesn't usually work out that evenly. And Magician, we have Strength, and we have Justice. Wow. Okay, first thing that I am noticing, you have a lot. Like, a lot of major arcana cards. So, let me explain what that means. So, is that right? Is everything straight? Yes, there. So what do I mean by saying that you have a lot of major arcana cards? So the way tarot works, there's 4 suits, like the suit of cards, and then there's kind of this extra suit that are major arcanas. The other suits go from ace to king. We all understand that. The major arcana tell a type of story in tarot. The story is not important for now, but the cards that are in there carry a little bit more weight. So the fact that you have all major arcana cards at the bottom and then another major arcana card here tells me there are big changes in your next 6 months, okay? That's clear from the get-go. Now, we're starting off with the Knight of Chalices. So, again, this is usually the Knight of Cups. A lot of big emotions. Maybe even new love coming in. A lot of people just kind of read the Knight of Cups as new love coming in most of the time. It does not have to be. It can be, it doesn't have to be. It's also very much a Cancerian sign. There's like some crab claws in the background. If you can see that. But I'm going to say the starting off at the 6-month point, whether that's more in July or if you're already feeling it, depending on when you see this video. You're going to have a lot of emotions coming in at the start of this 6 months. So there may be something going on that's very emotional for you at this time. It may even have to do with the relationship itself. And again, it doesn't have to be a relationship. It doesn't necessarily have to do with a relationship, but you do have something emotional going on from the get-go with the Knight of Chalices. And the next 2 cards, I will say, fair warning, the next 2 cards are a little tough, but after that, not really any tough cards. So, it's just these 2. So you have next, going into your 6 months, the 5 of Wands. So that's friction, that's arguing. These aren't necessarily super big or tough arguments. It may just be a lot of spats, a lot of friction with those around you. So the thing with the 5 of Wands is sometimes those arguments, those spats, they don't really go anywhere. They're not like and then whatever. But there is we'll see. We have the Tower afterwards, but the Five of Wands initially is there's going to be a lot of little spots, a lot of little frictions. I have a feeling that this is kind of like when you know when something big is about to happen in your life, and then a bunch of little things start going awry, stop happening that like set you off track. I think that's what this is. I think that's what this is right here. I think there's going to be a lot of things when you're still in that emotional state that just feel like they're keeping you there, or really, and they're just going from thing to thing. You try to go to one thing to the other, and like your shoelace isn't tied, you trip a little bit, you're fine, but you miss the bus, and it's kind of like those things. A bunch of those little things are happening, and one of those things happen, it's easy to ignore. 5 of those things happen, little less easy to ignore. 10 of those things happen 2 days in a row. Now it's like, ugh, what's happening, right? I think there's going to be some friction, and I think there's some other emotional stuff that's going to happen, which leads to our second, but our last in this reading, difficult card, and that is the Tower. Now, don't freak out too much about the Tower. If you watched these kinds of readings and you've seen this card before, you know this is a big unexpected surprise. Usually when we see the Tower, it's a big change. It's something we're not expecting. It's disorienting. I mean, it can definitely be a lot. And that's why it's a worrisome card. A lot of people don't like it. It's not my favorite card in the deck. I will say though, you're here. You're here. I'm here. We're talking about it right now. And just knowing that we may have a tough little spell can help. Knowing that, okay, I know what to watch out for. I know that there's a couple of things that may come in the next couple of months that may be a little tough. It's not as much as a surprise. And I can tell you right now, I know for myself, I can deal with a lot of stuff. I can deal with a lot of tough stuff going on. I can problem solve. A lot of times for me, and I'm sure for a lot of other people out there, it's the surprise that sucks, right? Something comes up and you're like, wow, I wasn't expecting that. That's what makes it suck. We're here, we're realizing that something may come along when we're not really in the best mood or strongest place for it. It's not going to be a surprise anymore. Take it in stride. Whatever comes in and kind of shakes you a little bit, don't let it shake you to your foundation. Nothing is set in stone. In tarot, we do have free will. We do have the ability to change things. So just know once things start to kind of build up, take a deep breath. Do what you can to stop things from escalating without getting too riled. Especially because then right after we have the Four of Wands. And the great thing about the Four of Wands, and so, yeah, I'm not going to split this too much time-wise because I have 8 cards in 6 months, but I'm going to say the feeling that I get from this is that this is very early. I feel like these 2 cards can basically be read together. And we're talking about the first 2 to 3 months in these 3 cards. And immediately after that, when we get to the Four of Wands, Four of Wands is about stability. It's about having stability. So it's not even about getting to stability, working our way to stability. It's about stability. It's usually about like home life and community. It's a very sturdy place to be, very grounded. And I mean, honestly, usually I like this. If it wasn't for the fact you had so many good major arcana cards, I would say, like, usually I like the Four of Wands at the end of the reading because it's like, oh, everything ends well. I have everything in place. But the fact that you have it here and then you have really positive cards after, to me, says that you almost get this, like, peak of like friction in your life, and then it comes down really quick, and you probably needed a little bit of that friction and that little bit of that difficulty in order to arrive at the stable part in your 6 months. So you just needed a little bit of, well, not that you needed it, but you just had a little bit of that pullback from the universe to clear some things away before you got back to that stability. Now, with the High Priestess and the High Priestess underneath the Knight of Chalices, I'm getting the feeling that a lot of this is going to move very intuitively for you. Stability. Sorry, my light went out. But new batteries, moving forward, Four of Wands is about stability. And usually I would like that at the end of a reading. However, you have so many great cards after that the Four of Wands can be wherever it wants. And I'm seeing this about halfway through the 6 month period. So 3 months in, you're already looking like at a good place. Whatever friction was coming in beforehand was probably left over from the first half of the year. So then we have the High Priestess. And I get from this that the second part, the second 3 months, you're going to start moving a lot more intuitively. Especially when we have this underneath the Knight of Chalices. I just feel as if you have a lot of intuitive knowledge that maybe previously you had been ignoring, that maybe you didn't want to acknowledge. But I'm going to tell you right now that you absolutely have the ability to move based off of your gut feelings and your first impressions on people. I think that you are a lot better at it than you truly know. And I'm getting the feeling also that there's maybe a new project of sorts that you're going to be moving towards. So it may be in business or it may be some sort of personal project, whether that's like home improvement or maybe a new hobby. But I'm seeing here that you also have the Magician card. So you have the High Priestess and then you have the Magician card. Magician card is having everything you need in order to move forward in something. So in the traditional tarot, you would have all 4 elements presented in this card. Now, I don't see it all 4 represented in this version of it, but it has a cute little magician hat. I'm seeing like with the High Priestess and being very intuitive and the Magician having all the tools you need, that you will able to move forward in some sort of project, in your goals. Like you have something that I think in the past you've were more concerned about maybe having the technical skills for, or maybe like technical schooling for, you don't need those things in order to move forward in your project. And I'm actually looking at the description for your oracle card as well. And remember that it's about empowerment and blessings. It's about a heightened connection with the higher realms, okay? Spiritual assistance, and then abundance and prosperity coming your way. So this heightened emotion, and maybe the reason why it wasn't connecting for me for you as being in a relationship, is because you have a bunch coming in. I think you maybe have even had, maybe this was a failed project. Failed, meaning it didn't work out how you wanted to the first time. But it's clearly coming back around. I think if this is about a project that really, it bothered you that it didn't turn out the way that you wanted, like however it ended, it still ended in a way where you had your base, you had what you needed to get by. So it really wasn't even like a failure at any point. It was just like a pause. I think this tower may actually represent not a complete coming down, but truly just a redirection. And I know a lot of times people will say, rejection is redirection, and what's meant for you to come for you, and blah 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 blah. But it never feels that way at the time, right? It never feels that way. I think this tower may in itself just be more about how you feel. It may feel more like a tower moment to you, but nothing's truly taken away. I think that in the next 6 months, you're truly going to be realizing what is the correct path for you in this hobby or this project or these goals. And it's going to bring in a lot of prosperity for you. It's going to bring in a lot of abundance for you, but you're going to have to move in a different direction than what you initially expected. And then, of course, we have the Strength card. And that one's a little bit more straightforward. I think doing things in a new way, doing things differently, doing things how we have not done them before can be very, very intimidating. Right? They can be very intimidating for us. But doing things the way you've done them forever is going to give you the same results. That's when you start to change. It's when you do things that you're not 100% comfortable with. That's when you're going to see the new changes. I tell myself as I speak into not my new mic, but the mic that I've had sitting around for longer than I want to tell you without using it because I didn't know how to use it. Like, these things that we do that we are not accustomed to, we have to learn how to use, that make us uncomfortable. That's how we become better, and that's how we improve. And that's why you can hear me clearly right now. I'm sorry, I'm not going to make it all about me. I promise. But I can tell you right now, whatever's making you feel uncomfortable, the newness, that's what's gonna make this project, what's gonna make this hobby, what's gonna make this new career change, whatever it is that you're working on, that you're focused on, that's what's gonna make you successful. Okay? And then we have justice. It doesn't always have to be red, super literally. But I can tell you right now that if with this Five of Wands energy, if they were like individuals, some small group that were getting in the way of your project before, if there were people who were like, you'll never do this, or, you know, that's the wrong way to do it, or they were right there to point out when things didn't go the way you wanted to, and they were keying it up. I'm just saying we're going to get close to the end of the year, or whenever you see this is timeless, 6 months from now, and maybe you might see them get what they deserve. That's all I'm saying. Doesn't always happen that way, but it may happen this time. Or you'll hear about it. Whoever was getting in your way, they're going to get their karma, and it may be one of those situations where you see them get their karma. And you do not have to do anything. You do not have to get involved. You do not have to say anything. They will get their karma. And on top of that, what I think is even better with the Justice card, I think this is where that abundance and prosperity comes in. When you put in all that effort for yourself and for your work and for the things that you care about, you will have positive results come in. And I truly, 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 truly think that you will get that this time around, okay? So, that is what I see in the reading for you. For your next 6 months, a lot of abundance. I'd love to know, comment below, what this project, what this goal, this business venture is that you are working on. And if this resonated, please like and subscribe below. And I would love to see you next time in my court. See you then. Hello, and welcome to the Exalted Empress Tarot. My name's Tiana, and I'm the Empress, and welcome to my court. If you picked card number 2, or this white and tan geode, then you are in the right place. And if you have not done a reading like this before, the Oracle card is kind of like the summary or the overall vibe of your reading. So I will go ahead and read that for you, and then I will pull some tarot cards and go over your overall reading for the next 6 months. So, Perfume of Sophia says, you will be able to sense the best timing and approach to take. To create space for healing and resolution, connect to your body and ground yourself in the here and now with body-friendly practices. You will find your way intuitively and instinctively, even through confusing circumstances, where one moment you are sure the answer is no, and the next minute you are sure it is yes. Give up trying to figure the answer out right now and remain open with positive but relaxed expectation. That clarity shall emerge spontaneously according to divine timing. Okay, so you are healing and reaching resolution in something right now. And like most things, we do not get to know the ending in advance. So let's shuffle some of these tarot cards and see if we can't get a little bit more clarity. Sorry. Make it to be a little bit sharper for you guys. Let's get a little bit more clarity for the next 6 months. Ooh. Okay, this is a big pile, but I will take the top card from here. And then you also had a card fly out to the side. So this is the 6 of Chalices, or the 6 of Cups, and the 7 of Pentacles. I am going to shuffle again. Spirit, can we get a couple more cards? And see what group number 2 has ahead of them for the next 6 months. Okay, we have the Knight of Swords. I'm feeling called to take this top card right here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. We have the Sun. Ooh, love that for you, group number 2. Straighten that out a little bit more. Sorry, I get such a perfectionist vibe when doing this, and then when we have the more cards come out, they're just going to get a little wonky again. Give me 1 second. Okay, we have the Ten of Swords. Oh, sorry, Ten of Wands. There. Interesting. 9 of Pentacles. Okay, I'm not gonna take those. There was like a little chunk that came out. Just need 2 more cards here. And we got exactly 2. That's awesome. Okay. All right. I am used to asking Spirit for a couple of cards and getting like twice as many of the cards that I actually want. But both the first pile and this one, I got exactly the right amounts. Look at that. Okay, and so our last 2 were the Four of Wands and the Page of Chalices. So, what are we seeing for the next 6 months? And I'm going to so it makes sense to me that Spirit asked you to make room to rest and relax. So I'm seeing a little bit of an in-between period coming for you, especially in the beginning of this 6-month period. So when we first start out with the Six of Chalices, or the Six of Cups, this is nostalgia. This is looking back on things with maybe more of a more positive vibe, a more positive attitude than what happened. I mean, that's what nostalgia is for everybody, right? You'll look back and think, wow, remember this room or this space or this place or this person way back when. And then you go back to that place, that space, that person. And you're like, oh, I remember that completely differently than how I'm experiencing it now, as an adult or a couple years later, what have you. And so just keep that in mind, that when we look back at things from our past, don't necessarily miss it or grip onto it or be like, oh my God, things were so great back then, because, I mean, maybe they were nice. You can still enjoy those memories. That doesn't automatically mean that what was for you is behind you, right? Because that doesn't make sense. If it's for you, it will be ahead of you. If it's for you, it'll be on the path with you. So what we're leaving behind is what we're leaving behind. And you can look back on it fondly, but maybe don't necessarily look at it like, oh my goodness, I missed out on this huge thing that I no longer have. Like, it truly unlikely that that's the case. It maybe was a timeline that could have been very positive theoretically, but it's not the one you're on because you're moving forward. And then we have the Seven of Pentacles. And the Seven of Pentacles is about putting in hard work into the next thing, and knowing that we're going to have to learn some more, really work on our skills, not in a, oh, I really need to work on this type of way, but just, putting in those 10,000 hours to get to the next spot. Moving ahead in our lives. It's really about being in the in-between and being a little bit of that, intern type mindset where it's like, I'm here to learn whatever it is you're doing, and it doesn't have to be like a literal work situation. I'm not saying that in this case. It could be anything. It could be relationships. It could be work, I guess. But I'm really not necessarily getting that right now. I'm actually getting, to be honest with you, I'm getting more of a relationship vibe. That's something we moved on from. It could be romantic. It could be a friendship. It could be familial. But we're just moving past that. And this work that we're doing over these next 6 months, we're working on ourselves. We're working on ourselves, and we're just focused on that work. And again, I just want to say that this first top row, I know there's 4 cards, but this is probably going to lean more towards the first 3 months of the 6-month period, and the bottom cards are going to lean more towards the second 3 months in the 6-month period. Then we get to the Knight of Swords. And the Knight of Swords is a fast moving card. So the 4 Knight cards move at 4 different speeds, and the Swords is the fastest. So I feel while we're working on ourselves and kind of moving forward towards things, we're going to have a lot of truth and honesty and essentially growth happen very quickly. Because you're really putting in that work. You're putting in those like 10,000 hours. For this, it may not literally be 10,000 hours, but you're putting in that time and effort and energy in order to improve yourself. And so because you're being so intentional about it, you're going to see a lot of improvement come in very fast. So it's a lot of truths. And some of these truths may be, difficult to learn, difficult to go through. It may involve learning more about, your shadow self, bad habits that we have, things like that. But at the end of the day, you're facing it head on, which is truly what is most important in these cases. It's truly what is going to give you the results that you are looking for. Because if you were moving through here and you weren't putting in that extra effort, you weren't being intentional, you weren't looking within, you weren't trying to find those truths about yourself, like the work just wouldn't happen, or it would take so much longer. Like, this is a 6-month reading. This is in the first 3 months. Like, you are going to put that work in now, and you're going to be intentional about it. So you're not doing that for the whole 6 months. You know what I'm saying? You are truly working on you. And that's what's most important. And then we have the Sun card. And I love the Sun card. I love when the Sun card comes up, because the Sun card is the happiest card in the deck. It cannot be negative. Now, this deck I don't read in reversals because the cards are just too big. So to keep flipping them and all that stuff, it's just more effort than it's worth. But even if I could flip these cards upside down and use them in reversals, the Sun card is not going to be negative, even in reverse. There's no way to get a negative Sun. So when I say all this effort and all this work that you're putting into yourself is going to work out for the best, it truly, 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 truly is. You're going to feel so much better at the end of this 3 months. And it's not even that you started off in a bad place either. Because being who isn't nostalgic? I think that's pretty neutral to say nostalgia. Sometimes it's a little bad because, oh no, we lost something and that's why we're looking back. But, nostalgia overall is, either net neutral or a little bit more net positive. And so to have it end with the Sun, it's just, we're moving fast forward in such a positive direction. Really, it's impressive. Like you're really, this personal development you're doing over the next 6 months, and especially just in 3 months, truly is going to put you in such a better, more positive place, in such a happier place with the Sun card. It's a lot of self-work that, people don't always do. People don't tend to do. So, kudos to you. That's great. Truly. And then after that, we have the 10 of Wands. So during all of this, it seems to me with the 10 of Wands that there is something that you're holding on to. And whatever that thing is, those thoughts, those feelings, the bigger issue that you're holding on to, with the 10 of Wands, you're going to be able to put that down. You're going to be able to put down that burden because you reached that happiness on your own. It's probably going to be whatever you were nostalgic about. You're going to realize the past is the past, and that you've put enough work into yourself that you don't have to worry about that anymore. That even if it's not directly related to whatever this burden isn't directly related to, your work and everything else. Maybe it's a separate thing. You being in a better place is what helps you realize you need to let this go in the second part of the 3 months. And you're all the better for it. I think, and to be honest, the way your cards are coming out, and especially with the perfume of Sophia saying that, don't try to figure everything out. Like, everything's not always something that you can figure out. I feel like you're going to get, like, it may feel a little haphazard, this personal development. Like, what you're putting your intentions into, but the results you see may seem a little all over the place, but know that that's okay. We don't know where we're going when we're working on ourselves. We just know whether or not we're healing ourselves, right? I can tell you right now, if you had asked me 6 months ago if I was thinking about starting a tarot channel, I would have looked at you sideways. I truly would have been like, that's not even on my mind. And now I'm so excited about it. And I do so much with it, and I hope you enjoy it. I hope it resonates. But, you just don't know. Things just happen sometimes, and it's like, wait a second, these things are aligning, and things can work out very positively for you in the most unpredictable ways. So what you're laying down may or may not have anything to do with this nostalgia that initiated all this other stuff. But trust me, let it go, because your next card is the Nine of Pentacles. And the Nine of Pentacles is a wish fulfillment card. You are getting a wish fulfilled. You are going to have something come in for you that you weren't expecting. That's very positive. Again, I cannot tell you how happy I am for you. I am so happy for you. I'm happy for you, for your self-development just by itself. And I'm happy that you're happy, and I'm happy that wishes are coming in, okay? It may be a literal, like, wish come true, or it may just be you see all that work that you've done. I think it's so interesting that these two lined up. You see all that work you put in, and 2 cards later, you can see the improvement. Both in yourself, because you're putting in a lot of self-improvement work, but also, you may be gaining a lot of financial abundance if there's somehow work, actual, like, career type work involved in it. I'm just loving all of your cards and how everything's working out, because not only do you have the Nine of Pentacles, then right after it you have the Four of Wands. And the Four of Wands is about stability. It's about fiscal safety. And it's about having positive structure in your life. And so to have these cards back to back, where you're getting a wish fulfilled, you're in a good place financially, both here or in your work. I'm seeing this more as like a work, like maybe not literal work, your career, but like some sort of project that you've been putting a lot of effort into. And then right afterwards, getting the Four of Wands, so then there's a lot of stability that way in your life as well. This is just super positive. I'm so happy for you. This is such a great reading. This is only the second pile, so I don't know if this is going to be my favorite, but kind of my favorite so far. Don't tell group 1. And then we have the Page of Chalices, so the Page of Cups. And what the Page of Cups tells me is that there's something new in the emotional realm coming in, and I think you may have new love coming in. And that's kind of the stereotypical reading of this. It could be some other new emotional something or other, but I do see that with all this work you're putting in and starting out from a nostalgia kind of viewpoint, I think it's, we start with the chalices and then we end with a new chalice. I feel that for you specifically, group number 2, that you will have a new person coming in, a new interest, very exciting. Towards the end of the year, if you're watching this now, it'll be either very late June or very early July when this video comes out. So, if you're reading this when it initially comes out, it'll be December. And for the new year, you may have a new person. Or if you're watching this any other time, because this is a timeless reading, then you'll see it then. And a lot of positivity both within yourself is coming, and growth, and in multiple areas of your life. And then hopefully also a new person. So if that resonated, like and subscribe. I'd love to see you as a new member of my court. And I hope to see you next time, group number 2. Bye. Hello, and welcome to the Exalted Empress Tarot. If you chose this black and white geode, then you are in the right place. Today we are going to talk about your next 6 months. So let's get into it. Actually, real quick, we'll start off with the Deer of Delta card meeting. And if you haven't been in one of these readings before, the Oracle deck card, this card right here, which is not part of the regular tarot, is kind of like the theme for your readings. It will be the theme for your next 6 months. And number 26, Deer of Delta, says, without any force, you can overcome even extreme negativities. Your real nature is gentle, which is powerful in its own unique way. You do not need to become something you are not. You can confidently and effectively invoke spiritual protection from the light. You can never be dominated or bullied at a spiritual level because the real you is always empowered and protected in the light, which I think is absolutely beautiful, and something a lot of us may need to hear right now. But what a beautiful message and theme for the upcoming months. Now let's see. Let's get some tarot cards for you. So we have Temperance. We have Two of Pentacles. Make sure those are lined up for you. They might get a little messy as I get some more cards out. Spirit, can we have a couple more cards to see what pile number 3's next 6 months is going to go. Okay, I feel like these two tried to flip out. We have the 6 of Wands and the 9 of Swords. There we go. Okay, and let's try to get 4 more for you. Okay, we have the 5 of Chalices, or the 5 of Cups. In a stack they say chalices, but same thing. Okay. See, I keep trying to make sure all of your cards are straight and they just do what they want to do. We have the 10 of Chalices. Wow, okay. The High Priestess and the Knight of Chalices. We also have this card over here, which is the Sun card. Okay, so I'm going to try to straighten these out for you. And let's also see. Does this fit? I don't think it's going to fit. Let's see if we can. We're going to try, though. We're absolutely going to try. It's in there, it's in there. Well, we're making room. There we go. And I absolutely love that you ended up with Sun. And we will go ahead and go over why. So, over the next 6 months, and we do here with the Deer of Delta card, that you may have been struggling with a lot of negativity coming your way for an extended period of time. And that may be a bullying situation, having haters, trying to be in your corner, that kind of thing. And what Spirit is telling you, that's not going to get to you. And what I love about this is we immediately start off with the solution in the next 6 months. So if you're watching this when it comes out, this is going to come out either the last day of June, one of the last days of June, or very early July. And again, and this is timeless, so you can watch this whenever. But you start off with Temperance, first thing right off the bat. Temperance is about mixing things together that don't normally go together, and being able to do it in a way that is balanced within those elements. So whatever this tough situation is that you have in your life, first things first, you're immediately in this next coming months, right off the bat, you're going to start to be very proactive. You're going to have that leadership energy, and you're going to start being able to put these people, these situations, and you're going to be able to balance them. And what's even better about the situation is that you have it paired with the Two of Pentacles, and then you have the Six of Wands. It's a great way of having these things balanced. Let me tell you why. Because the Two of Pentacles is about balancing things that are difficult and maybe having a little bit of a difficult time, but still managing to keep both pentacles up in the air. So in the traditional tarot, someone would be juggling and would be keeping both of these pentacles or coins, depending on which deck you have, up in the air. So they're still able to do it even though they're juggling a little bit. So not only do we have mixing things together, but we're having things staying in balance. So I love that for you, because we're seeing that you're being successful, even though you may have to put in a little work, even though you may have to deal with difficult personalities, even though you may have to deal with a tricky situation, you're able to do so. With the Six of Wands is victory. Boom. It's victory. It's being seen. This is a situation where there may have been a long time where people were just denying your reality, and they were saying, no, so-and-so is just complaining, they're whining, they're not able to keep up their end of things, blah, 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 blah. But in reality, you're winning, and people are seeing that. And it's not in a win like you win, they lose situation. It's just your efforts are being seen. We're seeing the success that this is like, a business situation where you're having to keep a team going and it's really stressful, things like that. You are going to be seen, if not celebrated, for holding things together and making things work in that situation, even though it was really difficult for you. Now, you may be thinking to yourself, okay, so the victory's there, then what? There's all these extra cards, isn't that the end? Well, what's interesting is that you then have the Nine of Swords. So I kind of see this as a mic drop moment, meaning that you're coming in, you're having to deal with this difficulty, you've been dealing it with a long time, you're going to start to really make it work, you're really balancing things, you're putting in the extra effort, people are going to see, and you're basically going to prove all your haters wrong. You're going to show these people up, and then you're going to hit this energy of like, well, we could have done this the whole time. This is the way things could have gone, but you didn't want that, and you're going to dip. That's what this Nine of Swords energy is. And again, I'm using business as an example, but this can be in any relationship. This can be in any group. It could be difficult family members who were giving you a hard time and you finally got them on board at something. It could be, people that you're interacting in like extracurriculars, hobbies, the people who live in your complex, It could be a bunch of different things, but the fact of the matter is people are going to see your effort and how successful you are despite whatever nonsense that they were doing, and then you're going to move on to better things. And it's going to be your choice. And what I think is, it's kind of funny. I know these situations, they're tense. They're not funny when you're in them. I have been in them. We all have been in them. It's not funny when you're having to put in 110% and someone's barely putting in 2. But what I see is you taking care of yourself by doing what's right against all odds, making it work, and then again, moving on to greener pastures. And then we're going to move on to the Five of Chalices, which is, Five of Chalices is feelings, having a little bit of some negative feelings. When I say negative, I don't mean angry. Five of Chalices is like victim mindset, feeling terrible, but I just don't feel like this is you. I feel like this is them. When you move on and you're like, I'm not dealing with this nonsense, even though I made it work, even though I was able to make it successful, they're going to boo-hoo-hoo over here about how, why did you leave? Things were working. We finally had blah, blah, blah aligned, whatever the case may be. And essentially act like it was a miscommunication. That's like, ugh. I hate when people are like, it was a miscommunication, and they like never had nothing to do with the miscommunication, right? Maybe an intentional miscommunication. But they're gonna regret giving you that hard time, especially when they see that you made it work, because they're not going to be able to do that separately from you. That's kind of the big thing here is you're going to do all this, you're going to put all this effort in, and no one's going to be able to do what you did, which is why they have to kind of recognize you on some level. And when you leave there and be like, I can't do that, we can't do that, we can't replicate that thing that she did, or like, I don't want, even if it's something that now that they've seen you do it, they could do it, they're like, I don't want to do it that way. They don't want to have to come in after you and deal with their own group of haters, or even if they get along with that group, it's not functional, right? Like whether or not it's like a team that's not functional, or again, difficult family members who can't govern themselves or what have you, they're going to be feeling it when you leave. And right after that, we have the 10 of chalices, or the 10 of cups, which is complete emotional satisfaction. Wherever you're going, whatever you're building, it may, if it's a business that you leave, you may be making your own business. If it's, family that weren't great, you may be leaving them, moving, not necessarily disconnecting from your whole family, but, it may be a situation where maybe you're in a living situation where you're living with a relative or roommates or people who like aren't the best, but you're like, now I get to move in with my partner. Now I don't have to deal with the bullshit, and the 10 of chalices is like, we're balanced now. We're good. We have everything that we need. And with the High Priestess, I feel like when you reach this emotional completion, you're going to feel so at peace. You're going to know. You're going to know as this is coming in that this is the right direction. You're doing the right thing. Everything is going well. You're super happy. Like, it is so peaceful when things balance out like that, when everything just aligns. It truly is. When everything just aligns, especially when things haven't been aligning for a long time, it is such a relief. It feels like it can't possibly be real. It's like, oh, is my life balancing out? I don't have to deal with Aunt so-and-so who's absolutely off the rails. Nope. No, you don't. And it's, it's great when you reach those realizations or reach those moments of like, I have me, I've got my stuff together, It truly is great. And I'm so happy for you that you're kind of getting away from these bullies, haters, naysayers in your life and doing your own thing. It's going to be great for you. the last two cards that we have, the first one we have is the Knight of Chalices. So the Knight of Chalices is usually the Knight of Cups and is pretty routinely spoken about as love coming in, which it absolutely can be. So you may have love coming in. If you're already partnered, then you are just going to have whatever the situation was may have been putting a lot of weight on your relationship. So that's going to be completely lifted. And you guys are just going to have an amazing, peaceful era where you don't have to really deal with that kind of nonsense anymore. And, you know, truly, I don't see a lot that I have to read into because I just see you coming into such a peaceful era. It's like even the part where it's difficult right here in the beginning is only difficult for a short period of time because you're fixing it. You're being very proactive. And then we end with the Sun card. And the Sun card is happiness. That's what the Sun card is for. It is the happiest card in the deck. So you will be moving forward, moving away from whoever these people are who are causing you so much strife that you don't need, because who needs that in their life? And you will be reaching a level of just complete happiness with these two. And again, if you are someone who is looking to be partnered, I see that love is coming in right around the time where you're kind of finishing up this kind of negativity and moving on to something new. So I am so happy for you, group number 3. If that resonated, if you have anything going on like this, or you want to come back and comment after this becomes relevant in your day-to-day, please comment below. Again, if you would like to join the Empress's Court, please like and subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye. Hello, and welcome to the Exalted Empress Tarot. I am Tiana, and I am the Empress. Welcome to my court. If you picked group 4, either the Theta of Venus card or this geode, then you are in the correct spot. So let's get into it. If you have not done a pick a card reading before, I'll go ahead and explain that to you. This Theta of Venus card is the Oracle top card, so it will be the kind of theme for the rest of your reading. So I'm going to go ahead and read part of the description for that from the book that comes with it. So, Theta of Venus, attune yourself to a higher consciousness by choosing to access the purest frequencies of love within. Acknowledge lower frequencies such as judgment, fear, doubt, or shame when they arise within or around you, but do not give them a foothold in your heart. You are ready for higher understanding, to see things in a new and more positive light. Allow your inner knowing to guide you on a unique, beautiful, and highly spiritual path. Oh, so beautiful message about not doubting yourself, okay? Be your own best friend. Have positive energies to yourself, okay? And that is the kind of theme that's going to be over your reading and therefore the next 6 months. So let's get some cards from the tarot deck. Your first card is Knight of Swords. Knight of Swords. What other cards do we have, Spirit, for group number 4 for the next 6 months? You have the 8 of Chalices. I'm doing my best to keep them in order now, but you know, they are just going to go all over the place. They try to shuffle them for you. But I am doing my absolute best. Let's see. Spirit, do we have any other cards for truth number 4. I pick these two. We have the Star. We have the King of Swords. So I'm already seeing a lot of truth coming in. Whether that's inner truth or we have other things going on. Let me see. Ooh, okay. Oh, this may be, oh wow, the exact right number of cards. That does not usually happen, but very convenient in this case. Thank you, Spirit. Is everything. Yes, so we will put this way. Awesome. Okay. So we have this theme of loving oneself and working on self-love over the next 6 months from whenever you first see this. And with the Knight of Swords, that is a truth that is coming in. There's some information. It can, when I say truth, it could also be a fact. It's some information that's coming in quickly, maybe literally within days of seeing this, that's going to come in and be for your highest good. So it may be something that you needed to realize for yourself because we talked about self-love, or what it could be is some fact, some tidbit of information about a situation you're currently dealing with. But either way, we have that as the first card. And when we have that right off the bat, and the Swords is a very like quick card when we're talking about time, I'm seeing that come in and be like a aha moment, an awe-inspiring moment. This is going to move in and really line things up for you. I don't know if it's a person, a place, a situation that's kind of getting to you where it's affecting your self-love. But with the Eight of Chalices, I'm seeing you, once you realize this truth or get this new piece of information, you leaving that situation or you discarding this thought process, this theme. I think you're going to be very quick, like in the first month or so, to completely get rid of this mindset or remove yourself from a situation. And immediately afterwards, I see you having the King of Swords. Now, let me explain specifically what's interesting about the King of Swords. So, the tarot card, the different suits are cups or chalices in this case, swords, wands, and pentacles. And then there's major arcana cards like the Star. But we'll get to that. When we have the regular suits, they go from ace to king. And so a lot of times people think, oh, they got the king card, that's like the best one, right? The King of Swords is a little testy. The King of Swords is a little difficult. And the reason the King of Swords is so difficult because the King of Swords is like a person who believes in facts 100%. That's it. Like, that is the top of everything they're doing. Like, the facts matter no matter what. Like, and they don't necessarily process or think about people's feelings when they're like, we need to do this based off of these facts. They don't consider that. That's just not natural for them. And when we're talking about a specific individual, you could be dealing with an individual who's like that. I'm not seeing that specifically in this case. What I am seeing is that this truth, this new thought, that's coming toward you is going to cause you to leave a situation or thought process behind. And then you're going to share a difficult truth with somebody else. I think even if it's a thought process that you had that's holding you back, I think this kind of difficult truth is what was holding you back. So it may not be like, oh, it's this person that was making you feel this way. Maybe it is, but I feel like you may even just be relaying this information that you got to somebody else and being like, this was absolute BS. This was not okay. You did or said this thing, or I was put in this situation, or whatever, and it was not what should have happened ever under any circumstances. Or you said that thing, or, I thought I didn't have whatever, or didn't get into this, there was misinformation here, and it was leading from something. Like, and if it's not someone else kind of interfering, it could even be just relaying to someone, I've had this thought process or this way of doing things for X amount of time. And now I'm getting rid of it. And because I'm getting rid of that thought process now, because I'm healing myself, I'm going to be a little different. I'm going to come off a certain type of way. I'm going to do things a little different. I'm going to carry myself a little different because I'm loving myself. I come first. I cannot pour from an empty cup. That's what this is saying. And it may seem like a weird card to have there, but you immediately have the Star, which to me says you need to have this difficult truth off of your chest in order to heal. Whether you heal with this another person or individual or group or whatever, or you just heal within yourself. The healing within yourself is kind of already spoken for by your oracle card. But I want you to know that things are going to, like, there is going to be maybe some difficult information coming in, but you are just going to move so beautifully through healing in the quiet, so peacefully through this. It really is impressive. It's really how you're moving through this 6 months. It's probably what you've needed for a while. So then we move on from the Star in our healing, after speaking a difficult truth, to the Four Swords. And Four Swords is rest. So you're going to be able to rest from this lack of self-love that you've had for some time. And all I can say about that one is enjoy it. Enjoy it. It's well earned. Not that you had to earn it, but you did earn it. You earned it through, being in a situation where you maybe didn't feel up to that self-love for a while. You earned it by receiving information that was probably difficult to hear, by leaving a situation or dropping negative thought processes and then speaking a difficult truth. All of that takes its toll. And now you can rest. And from there, we move on to Temperance. And Temperance is mixing things together that don't normally mix. So I've been getting this card a lot. in every deck I have recently, it feels like. I don't know what's going on where everyone's having these clashing situations, but apparently everyone is coming together to be closer and mix things that didn't normally mix. Because I cannot tell you, I got it in the last group. I got that card in 2 of the groups last time. A completely different deck. Sometimes I get it when I read for myself, you know. But the good thing here is your ability to love and care for yourself allows you to pour into others, right? So now you'll have the energy to expend in order to help others kind of bridge that gap within themselves. And so you will have the ability to bring people together who maybe wouldn't normally vibe, bring situations together that will help things out, etc. With the Queen of Chalices, we're talking about our feelings again. And it's coming into balance with our own emotions, our own feelings. It's not the King of Chalices, but it's the Queen. So we're in that process of really getting a hold of how we feel, expressing it in a way that is with love. And when we aren't coming from a place of self-love or self-love that's damaged, which we speak about at the beginning of the 6 months, you know, sometimes we're just not the best communicators. No judgment. Sometimes we're not the best communicators. Sometimes we don't know how we feel ourselves because we're, you know, eternally dealing with our shadow and such. But the Queen of Chalices tells me that once we start to get to the end of the 6 months, you're basically going to be like a whole different person. People are going to see it. They're going to know. They're going to be like, wow. When I used to hang out with so-and-so, they were just, you know, you're cool with this person. It's like, we were cool, but it's just, she just has a light about her. She just has a glow about her now. And that's truly something else. When people work on themselves, you can see it. When they truly work on themselves, you can see it. They do things different. They carry themselves different. They speak different. They communicate different. And I don't just mean that from like a little technical point, because that can also be true. But when people have reached a different place emotionally, everyone benefits. And moving on from there, we have a 2 of Chalices, the 2 of Cups, which is one of the relationship cards in the deck. It's the 2 of Cups and then also the Lovers. Some people like the 2 of Cups more. I like the Lovers more for that, but it is still about a union, you and one other person. And I've been trying to fight it, but I think the universe is going to win this one. I think we're going to see some love come in. Okay. So if you are not partnered, you will start having more opportunities to meet someone new, to grow with someone after dealing with this, which makes sense, right? You work on yourself, you're unloving yourself, it opens the door for new love to come in. And if you are already partnered, things are just going to get better, right? Because you've worked on yourself, you're doing all this work, you're dealing with a difficult truth, and then you grow, and so they can grow with you, right? They're going to benefit from your glow up. It is an absolutely beautiful message. I love the messages I've gotten for these next 6 months. Absolutely. So, I hope that resonated. Please, please, please come back and comment and tell me what happened and how it related. And if this spoke to you and you would like to come back to court, okay, and enjoy some other tarot readings, I would love to have you. So please like and subscribe below, and I would love to see you next time. Bye.